This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. Danny Higgins in for the vacationing Kelly Vidley on this Monday morning. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself, Gil?
Great. My ears don't work, though, this morning. The battery pack gave out within the first 10 seconds of the show.
Oh, that's not good.
So that's done.
We'll get that fixed.
Somehow I see better without glasses this morning. That's strange.
I know. You always get the glasses on.
I don't know what's going on here. It's a very strange morning. Kelly on vacation in Florida, enjoying his time with family for Christmas. We wish him well. We saw a picture of him with, I guess, as a niece.
Yes.
Sitting on his couch.
I believe that's his niece, yes.
So he seems to be having a good old time. We will get into all of it. National Football League Week 17 guessing lines, the exercise that looks to extract value for our upcoming bets. I wish I had stuck to my guessing lines thoughts from exactly 1 week ago. Those were the good ones. Chargers, cha-ching, Panthers, cha-ching. Everything else that I talked myself into during the week, Danny, it seems like that didn't work out.
Yes.
Including what I played for the Megapod, which was, it's just, I hate myself for that. But the guessing lines exercise of just first instinct stuff seems to be the most tried and true thing. And again, I don't know the lines. We will go through all of Week 16 games. Danny will, I will guess what the lines are, and Danny will tell me what they actually are. And within that exercise, we look to extract value. But Danny boy, we always start with what goes on in Circa Survivor. No change to Circa Survivor Classic.
Yep, all got through.
All got through. We have one pending on the Niners tonight.
That's right. Yes, we have one pending.
One pending on the Niners tonight. So let's assume. Let us do this. You know what they say about assuming, Danny? It makes you regret something you said earlier, and perhaps makes a donkey out of certain people.
Yes.
But here's the deal. If, let's just say for making it easy purposes, the Niners win tonight against the Colts, we'll talk about that. Let's say they do. We'll talk about the implications of that game coming up. What you're staring at with those 10 remaining Survivor members, and each of those entries, assuming there are 10, each worth $1.871 million, $1,871,800 to be precise, they are staring at a Christmas quirk now on Thursday. Remember the 3 games on Thursday of Dallas at Washington, Detroit at Minnesota, Denver at Kansas City. Those have always been the games, but those have not always been the games with these 3 quarterbacks involved, one in each. Perhaps Josh Johnson for Washington, Max Brosmer, we're learning it's pronounced Brosmer now, Max Brosmer for the Vikings, and Chris Oladikin of the Kansas City Chiefs. And of those remaining 10, nobody has 2 of those 3 opponents. So nobody has Detroit, nobody has Denver left. So 5 do have Dallas. So what I'm basically saying is 5 of these remaining entries must take one of those 3 quarterbacks, Johnson, Brosmer, or Oladikin, if that's what it comes down to with those teams.
I'd say you can flip a coin, but you can't flip a coin with 3, Gil. So.
No, you cannot. Unless it lands on its side, Danny,
yes.
Which is possible. But that's the predicament those guys are in, and that's why we are unlikely to see, again, a chop until after Thursday. But I do believe that then spikes immensely after Thursday. Not knowing the personalities, but I would think it would. See who gets through there. We shall see. By the way, tonight's game, where one survivor remains, San Francisco at Indianapolis tonight. San Francisco has already clinched a playoff berth. They did so by virtue of the Lions' loss yesterday, as did the Bears clinch a playoff spot by virtue of the Lions' loss yesterday. But the Niners, remember, in addition to the Seahawks having the number 1 seed on their racket, if they win their last 2, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. If the Niners win their last 3, including tonight's, then the Niners are the number 1 seed in the NFC. And then as far as the Colts are concerned, they are, let's put it this way, if they lose tonight, they are on life support. If they lose tonight, they would have to win their final 2 games, and the Texans would have to would have to lose their final 2 games. Colts would have to win their final 2. Texans would have to lose their final 2 for the Colts to get in if the Colts lose tonight in a game where they are 5.5-point dogs at home with old man Rivers going up against the Niners. That's the story with that game tonight. I have no play. You have any play on tonight game?
Tonight, no, I have nothing as of right now. I'm looking at some player props, but I have not touched anything as of so far.
Okay. Shall we begin? Let's do it. Let's try to get some value. Week 17, guessing lines in the National Football League. All right, let's do this. What do you have first?
All right, first up, we have Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We have the Dallas Cowboys going to take on the Washington Commanders.
All right, Dallas Cowboys at Washington Commanders, what we just mentioned as one of those 3 Thanksgiving games. And again, the schedule on Thanksgiving looked like it was going to be awesome when the season began. Yeah, not so much now. We don't know if it's going to be Josh Johnson, who finished Washington's game against Philadelphia on Saturday. Could still be Marcus Mariota. Mariota is day-to-day, according to Washington. Dallas, first of all, they lose to the Chargers yesterday. And again, one of these things that I got right on guessing lines a week ago. Wish I had stuck to that as the week went on with the Megapod and such. But Dallas started the game, 10 plays, 79 yards. They convert a 4th and 2 at the Chargers 39. Dak to Pickens for 28. 3 plays later, Dak to Flournoy from 5 out. 7-0 Cowboys. 10:20 left in the first quarter. Chargers immediately respond. 6 plays, 65 yards. Herbert to Quentin Johnston from 23 out. Great catch. 7-7, 6:43 left in the first. And then Dallas, after a would-be Dak to Flournoy touchdown nullified by a hold, they settle for an Aubrey 33-yard field goal. 10-7 Cowboys early second quarter. Chargers can't be stopped in this game by the Dallas defense. 7 plays, 87 yards. Herbert to McConkey. Where's Lad McConkey been all year? From 25 out. 14-10 Chargers. Dallas responds to that. It was a track meet in the first half. 4 plays, 80 yards. Dak to Pickens from 38 out, 17-14 Dallas, a little before the midway point of the second quarter. And then the last drive was just a phenomenal one from the Chargers. 16 plays, 81 yards. Herbert in from 1. Chargers late at the half, 21-17. 24-17 now in the third quarter. Dallas 4th and 1 at the Chargers 16. They go to Hunter Lepke to try to get the first down, stuffed by Deshaun Hand. And from that point on, it was all Chargers. Chargers from their own 16. Herbert for 34 on 3rd and 7. Own 32. Herbert for 34, a run himself on 3rd and 7 from their own 32. The big play, they have to settle for a Dicker field goal after a false start on 3rd and 1. The Dallas 4 set them back. 27-17 Chargers. Then Dallas 4th and 10 at their own 46. Dak incomplete to no one in particular. Chargers on the short field from the Dallas 46. 6 plays. Herbert to Johnston. Played a great game, having a great season. After some considered him a bust, for 25 on 3rd and 9 at the Dallas 45. That was the key play. 3 plays later, Hampton in from 5, 34-17. Chargers doubling up the Cowboys at that point. Joe Milton would come in garbage time. He would get hit by Derwin James and fumble. That's the story. 34-17. Chargers win it going away. Chargers, one of 6 AFC teams now still vying for the number 1 seed in the American Football Conference. But as far as the Cowboys, a season that was already eliminated prior to this game even started, didn't go well for them yesterday. They're at Washington. If you missed it Saturday, and by the way, some of us were at a wedding, some of us missed parts of it, but Washington loses to Philly in a game where it looked like, this was one of these that I talked myself into, Danny, as the week went on, Washington +7. Looked like Washington would cover this. Will Shipley stripped by Mikey Sanistril on the opening kickoff, recovered by Kane Medrano. Washington would settle for a moody 20-yard field goal, went up 3-0 in this game. Later, though, first half, Hurts to Devonta for 16 to start, from 5 out to end it, 7-3 Philly. Late first quarter, Elliott would miss. Jake Elliott was having all kinds of troubles. He missed a 43-yard field goal try after that. Washington would respond. 9 plays, 67 yards. Mariota to the incomparable Terry McLaurin for 40 to start. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, in from 1, 10-7 Skins, 3:40 left in the half. And then Elliott would miss a 52-yard try to end the half. So Washington up 10-7 at the half. And then as the third quarter began, some of that old feeling started to creep in. Washington would punt after a sick 24-yard catch by Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks has made 2 of the great catches in the National Football League this year. Philly would respond 17 plays, 83 yards, took 10:35 off the clock. Just a vintage Philly drive, on a drive that extended by an illegal contact, by the way, on 4th and 7 at the Washington 38. Hurts to Goddard from 15 out on 3rd and goal. That made it 14-10 Philly late third quarter. That was when Josh Johnson came in. Mariota had a hand injury, was cleared from the tent for concussion. so he's not in concussion protocol, but the hand injury lingers. 3rd and 13 at their own 44. Terrible across the field pass by Johnson. Cooper DeJean picked that off. Philly would go 7 plays, 37 yards. Short field. Saquon in from 12 with 11:33 left. Washington 3 and out. Punt from their own 40 with 9:17 left. That's when you started to say to yourself, is Washington even trying? So again, down at this point, 21-10. Down 21-10. Punt from their own 40 with 9:17 left. Then the next time Washington got the ball on a 3 and out, punt from their own 44 with 6:44 left. It's like, what are we watching here? Philly would then go 4 plays, 80 yards. Saquon for 48 on 2nd and 4th, their own 26. 2 plays later, Tank Bigsby in from 22. 27-10 with 4:26 left. They oddly go for 2. Saquon converts to make it 29-10. That's when a brawl ensues and all kinds of ejections happen. As a Washington fan, I can sit here and say, if you're not even going to try in punt, in 4th down territory, or you're just going to punt it away when you should be trying for the first down when you're down in a game like this, you're not really justified in igniting a brawl because you think the other team's showing you up. Kind of my feeling on that. Washington 75 yards, helped by a PI on their last drive to make it a cosmetic score with a 2-point conversion. 29-18. Philly wins it. Philly clinches the NFC East title. Philly, by the way, Dallas eliminated in the process. First time an NFC East title has gone to the same team in back-to-back years in 21 years since Philly did it back-to-back in the early 2000s. This is Dallas at Washington. I said Dallas -3.5.
Light. We're sitting Cowboys 6.5 across the board.
So that sounds like it assumes Josh Johnson, mine assumes Mariota.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense to me. We'll try to find value. I have a feeling on a weekend like this or a week like this, we will. Coming back on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
While you're celebrating, traveling, or taking a rare day off, VSiN will be live all Christmas Day. Your morning starts with VSiN by the books, followed by a numbers game, and a special edition of Live Bet Christmas to guide you through the early action. In the afternoon and evening, we'll keep the insights coming with Follow the Money, VSiN Primetime, and Cashing Out. So even if your routine shifts during the holidays, your betting coverage doesn't have to. From bowl season to NFL action, plus the NBA's holiday slate, VSiN is your home for holiday betting coverage.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, Monday Night Football, huge one with the Niners and the Colts, props, touchdowns, and more. Nick Whalen to recap everything in Week 15 and preview Monday night, plus a couple of bets in the NBA. Stanford Steve, live from Indianapolis, will get his thoughts on the college football playoffs and Monday Night Football, and Warren Sharp on his best bets and props. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM, Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Looking for the perfect holiday gift or a smarter way to bet the biggest games of the season? Well, VSiN's holiday special gives you VSiN Pro access through May 1st for just $79. You'll get daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop tools, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, covering everything from bowl season and the NFL playoffs to March Madness and the Masters. Plus, you get our college football playoff betting guide featuring expert playoff brackets, power ratings, CFP and bowl best bets, and access to game previews for every bowl game on VSiN.com. Give yourself the gift of smarter betting. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Gil Alexander, Danny Higgins in for the vacation, and Kelly Billen. And for the first segment today, I can hear what's happening in my ears.
That's good.
It's very difficult doing that first segment naked, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, Danny. All right, here's the deal. I just want to point this out because I know this game is coming up. I believe it's the next game. Is the Detroit game next on Thanksgiving?
Yes, Detroit and Minnesota.
So before we even get into the Detroit and Minnesota game, let's just point out we've talked about this, Kelly and I have for many, many weeks now. I think as early as maybe a month or 6 weeks ago, not 6 weeks, but we started about 3-4 weeks ago, we started talking about how you can kind of figure out who the playoff teams are already. Now, we might have had one or two messed up. I thought Chicago would be out, Detroit would be in. Looks like it's going to be the opposite of that kind of thing. But generally speaking, you had the group ready to go. And now with 2 weeks left in the season, plus a game tonight, you really have the playoff pictures solidified. There are different possibilities when it comes to Steelers-Ravens, but that's a magic number of one. We talked about if the Colts lose tonight, it's a magic number of one between them and the Texans. So, I mean, at the fringes, there is possibility, but not much with 2 weeks left in the season. I don't ever remember a season quite like this where it's sort of the opposite of parity. But I want to say that the notion of correlated parlays have been legislated out of the NFL for many, many years now, with the final week of the season, week 18, where they slate everything at the same time as kickoffs. We have a correlated parlay possibility here, though. If you believe that the Minnesota Vikings, I said Detroit at Minnesota is the next game. Yes. If you believe that the Minnesota Vikings can beat the Detroit Lions, that would render the Packers game over the weekend meaningless to the Packers in terms of in or out of the playoffs. So that's just something to keep in mind because you look for these kinds of rare moments like this since the Lions play earlier, right? If you believe, that's a big if, but if you believe that the Vikings can pull off an upset in that game, I'm going to assume that it's an upset. I'm going to assume Detroit is the favorite. Then Green Bay against, I believe they play Baltimore on Sunday.
Yes, play Baltimore, which we might have the Malik Willis, Tyler Huntley showdown.
That's right. Another great quarterback duel.
Amazing. Can't wait to watch that one.
What did you call them off air? Electric
games we have on Christmas. Electric.
But just keep that in mind, that there is that. If you believe Minnesota can beat Detroit, then all of a sudden, whatever the Baltimore-Green Bay line is now, might very well shift towards the Ravens because the Packers essentially will only have seeding to play for, nothing else at that point because they will have been thrust into the playoffs as a clinched team at that point. Detroit at Minnesota. Detroit yesterday. What a game this was against Pittsburgh in a NFL season or NFL week where we had the Seahawks and Rams on Thursday. Good God, an instant classic. The Bears and the Packers on Saturday. Then there was this between the Lions and the Steelers. Steelers go up 3-0 on a Boswell 59-yarder. Ho hum. Detroit matriculate from their own 34 to first and goal to Pittsburgh 4. Gibbs for 1. Gibbs 3-yard loss. Goff to St. Brown for 3. So it's 4th and goal to 3. Danny, did you want them to go for it at this point, or should they have kicked the field goal?
I would have went for it.
I got a lot of text. People are like, can he just kick a field goal once in a blue moon? They went for it, incomplete, intended for St. Brown. That would come back, perhaps, to mean something later. 3-3 now. Detroit on a drive here. This is in the second quarter. On a drive where DK Metcalf, oh, by the way, punched a fan.
Oh, yes.
6 plays, 62 yards. Goff to Isaac Tesla from 20 out. 10-3 Lions, 1:55 left in the second quarter. Then Pittsburgh from their own 20 with 1:55 left in the second quarter. If you had the Lions in the first half, I did. This did not go well for you. Pittsburgh along the way converts a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, and a 3rd and 10. And then 2nd and 10 at the Detroit 45. Rodgers to Gainwell, interfered with by Anzalone. Somehow he still catches it, untouched, gets up to the end zone, 10-10 at the half.
That was unbelievable.
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 It's incredible. That whole drive was incredible. Third quarter, Pittsburgh matriculates. 2nd and 8 at the 9. Rogers to Darnell Washington for 5. He's hit by Thomas Harper. He fumbles. Recovered by Jack Campbell. Detroit, tie game. Third play. 3rd and 8 at their own 5, though. Goff sacked in the end zone by Kyle Duggar. 12-10 Pittsburgh. 9:42 left in the third quarter. And then Pittsburgh getting the ensuing punt. And the ensuing free kick, 17 plays, 64 yards, that took 9:44 off the clock, and it ended with a Boswell 23-yard field goal. 15-10 Pittsburgh, early fourth quarter. So as bad as Detroit is looked out there, they're still down 5. But after a 3-and-out, Pittsburgh, 4 plays, 61 yards. Jalen Warren in from 45 to make it 22-10 with 12:23 left. Detroit would respond. 10 plays, 74 yards. 4th and 2 at the Pittsburgh 27. Goff to Khalif Raymond from 27 out. 22-17 with 8:39 left. They cut it to 5 again. Pittsburgh deja vu. 4 plays, 65 yards. Warren in from 45 again. 29-17 Pittsburgh with 6:41 left. Detroit responds. 10 plays, 68 yards. Goff to Gibbs from 4 out. 29-24 with 4:11 left. And then Pittsburgh matriculates. 3rd and 8 at the Detroit 18. Detroit, what happens there? Detroit with 1 timeout. First down, wins it. Instead, as Tony Romo correctly pointed out, Rodgers threw the ball away. Not as smart as taking the sack there on 3rd down. So that would give Detroit, in essence, an extra play. Boswell, 37-yard field goal try to go up 8. Low snap, he doinks it off the right upright. Not used to seeing that from Chris Boswell. 29-24 with 2:05 left, and somehow Detroit has a chance to win this game. 4th and 2 at their own 35, a PI on Duggar, then tripping on Highsmith. As soon as he tripped, he's like, oh, why did I do that?
It was such a blatant trip.
So blatant. 2 plays later, Goff to St. Brown for 24 to the 12, then to Tisla for 11. It's 1st and goal at the 1. They're down 5. Detroit's going to pull off a miraculous win. And then Goff to St. Brown. Touchdown, easy peasy, but a pick called on Tisla. Then a false start. It becomes, from 1st and goal to 1, it becomes 1st and goal to 16 with 21 seconds left. 1 timeout. Goff to Gibbs for 7. They use the timeout. Then incomplete. It's 4th and goal to 9 with 8 seconds left. And Danny, here was the sequence of the day.
Oh, boy.
Playoff implications abound on both sides. Goff to St. Brown to just before the goal line. Flags fly. Meanwhile, St. Brown pitches it to Goff, who very unathletically scores amidst the chaos. Game completely stops while officials discuss it. New York City involved. No one knows what's going on, what's going to be called. Crowd thinks it's going to go their way. Steelers convinced it's going to go theirs. The call leads with, finally, after about 90 seconds, or what seemed like 10 minutes, quote, the ruling on the field is a touchdown. Crowd goes crazy. However, offensive pass interference on number 14. By rule, that penalty is not enforced and there is no replay. The game is over. Ball game. Pittsburgh wins at 29-24. No one-time down. Oh, my goodness. And Pittsburgh now, after Baltimore lost additionally last night, Pittsburgh's magic number is 1. Pittsburgh wins 1 time or Baltimore loses once. The Steelers are AFC North champs. And, oh, by the way, the Mike Tomlin streak continues. Unbelievable. No losing season ever in his tenure in Pittsburgh. Steelers as a franchise, I believe it's 22 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yes. With Tomlin, though, that's unbelievable.
With Tom,
yeah,
his entire tenure. Never had a losing season. That will continue now. But that's Detroit. Detroit's at Minnesota. In case you missed the Minnesota game against the Giants real quick, Minnesota lost Jordan Mason on the first drive of the game. That resulted in a Reichert 43-yard field goal, 3-0 Vikings. Giants 4th and 5 at the Minnesota 10. Dart sacked by Jalen Redmond. Again, we're just going for stuff now in games that don't matter to teams like that. I guess in the case of the Giants, you should. Minnesota 2nd and 10 at their own 39. McCarthy put it a little behind Naylor. Maybe should have had it. Pops right into the arms of Paulson Adebo. Giants set up at the Minnesota 44. They would settle for a field goal from Ben Sauls, the first left-footed kicker since Seabass. 3-3 early second quarter. The Minnesota 3rd and goal at the 8. McCarthy throws high, picked off a deflection by Holland. He takes it all the way the length of the field to the house, but Abdul Carter lined up in the neutral zone. Oh, God. Vikings settle for a Reichert 31-yard field goal. That's a 10-point swing right there on Abdul Carter being in the neutral zone. 6-3 Vikings. Giants 3rd and 15 at their own 29. Dart, who at this point in the game, this is late second quarter, hadn't completed a pass. He was 0 for 3 for 0 yards. He's picked off a deflection by Byron Murphy Jr. Minnesota set up at the Giants 16. 3 plays McCarthy in from 12. McCarthy aura farms in the end zone. That's what he does. 13-3 Vikings with 2:01 left in the second quarter. And then finally on the next drive, Dart completes his first and only pass of the half. Minnesota second play. Now Minnesota is ready to go into halftime up 10. Second play. of the last drive of the second quarter. Second and fourth, their own 41 with 24 seconds left. McCarthy sacked by Brian Burns, fumble scoop by Tyler Nubin, 27 yards to the house, 13-10 Vikings at the half. And then McCarthy, we found out, was ruled out with a hand injury. That guy's made of glass. They would trade field goals. Minnesota would win at 16-13. Game was sealed when Dart was sacked by Van Ginkel late, and then Minnesota would run out the clock to end it. This is Detroit at Minnesota. I'll say Detroit minus 4.5 at Minnesota on not Thanksgiving, but Christmas.
A little light. Sitting 6, some 5.5s out there, but mainly 6 across the board.
Remember, Detroit in a must-win situation. They got to win out. They got to have the Packers lose out. Correlated parlay possibility. If Minnesota wins, that Green Bay-Baltimore line may change. What was the line again? What did you say it was?
6, some 5.5s out there.
Okay, makes sense. Coming back, guessing lines. Week 17. How did we get there? This far in the season. Coming back on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
Your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Profit X, the number one sports prediction market, has some of the best future pricing you'll find on college football, national championship, and Super Bowl odds. With a huge holiday slate shaping playoff seeding, now's the perfect time to get in and take advantage of Profit X's 20% purchase match. Download Profit X today and experience the future of winning. Use promo code VSiN to get started. Gil Alexander, Danny Higgins in for Kelly Bidlin on this Monday morning. By the way, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, if that applies to you and yours. This is, we were talking about the Giants yesterday losing to the Vikings. Dart, Dunzo in terms of Rookie of the Year consideration. We can put that to bed once and for all.
Yeah.
Was never really a thing, but that was the end yesterday?
Yeah, he's out to 20-1 now.
Okay.
I'd say it's a two-man race.
Ted McMillan scored yesterday. That was big.
Yes, he's laying. You got to lay 250 now for him.
Minus 250 on
minus
McMillan.
250 on McMillan, and then Tyler Shuck up to plus 370.
Yeah, some people. Drew's going to be on later on the show. Drew Dinsick, because he can't do it later in the week, so he'll be on later today. He's a big Tyler Shuck guy on that.
Yeah,
but Tyler Shuck's stats aren't as good as Jackson Dart's.
No, collectively
speaking. Wins matter, though.
Collectively, because after Dart's performance yesterday, I mean, it's like he didn't really play.
It's closer. Yeah, it's closer. As far as MVP is concerned, Stafford's still the prohibitive favorite there. Rookie of the Year, they were showing. The one I really still think is anybody's guess is Coach of the Year.
Yes.
You can make a case for so many of these guys. I've got the Mike McDonald ticket. I know Kelly does as well.
Yes. If
the Seahawks are the number one seed in the NFC, I mean, how he's currently the second shot at 3-1. Mike Vrabel remains the even money short shot. So it's Vrabel, that's tightened a little bit though. Vrabel's even money. McDonald is 3-1. Ben Johnson of the Bears in terms of expectations exceeded 4-1. Liam Cohen of the Jaguars, they just keep winning. He's plus 450. Some people will make the case for Kyle Shanahan. They could be the number one seed in the NFC. All the injuries the Niners have overcome at plus 650. All five of those guys could get it. And then there's poor Sean Payton's 11-3. Apparently no consideration in the betting market, according to the betting market.
Yeah, he dropped a lot after that loss.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Is that fair? I don't know. Dave Canales, by the way, 80-1. I mean, would somebody vote for him?
I mean, I know you guys got the McDonald tickets, and I like the Seahawks as well. But I mean, you take a look at Shanahan at plus 650. Those Niners, they get that one seed. They keep rolling, win the division.
Yeah. I think any of those guys could win it. What's next?
Next, all right, we got the night game on Christmas Day at 8:15. We got the Broncos headed to the Chiefs.
Broncos at the Chiefs. Broncos yesterday. Well, got popped in the mouth by the Jaguars. Maybe this is what they needed heading into the playoffs. 11-game win streak snapped by the Jaguars here. The Broncos' 11-game win streak snapped by the Jaguars. Denver started with a second drive. Lutz doinked the 44-yard field goal try off the right upright. Jacksonville goes 66 yards. Lawrence to Parker, Washington. What a game he had for 21 on 3rd and 9 at their own 35. Followed by an unnecessary roughness on Denver when they couldn't hear the whistle from the home crowd after an illegal motion call was made. Did you see that? And they hit Trevor, and they got flagged for it, and that flag stands. That led to Trevor to Washington from 12 out, 7-0 Jaguars, final seconds of the first quarter. Then Denver from their own 35, 5 plays. Nicks to Evan Ingram for 33 to start. Nicks to Sutton from 15 out on 3rd and 5 to end it. 7-7 early second quarter. And then Lutz would hit a 54-yarder to put Denver up 10-7. But that was the high water mark for the Broncos in this game. Because then it was Jacksonville, 8 plays, 59 yards. Trevor to Brenton Strange for 23 on the drive. Trevor to for 24 from 2 plays later. And then 2 plays after that. Trevor to Strange from 3 out, 14-10 Jaguars. It would be 17-10 Jaguars at the half. Denver would respond early third quarter, first drive, 4 plays, 73 yards. Harvey in from 38. We're tied at 17, just under 2 minutes into the second half. And you're thinking, well, maybe this is yet another Broncos comeback. Jacksonville, 75 yards, held by roughing the passer and PI penalties, though. Lawrence in from 1, 24-17. Then Jacksonville, next time they had the ball, 4 plays, 80 yards. Third play, 3rd and 3 at their own 27. Lawrence to Parker, Washington for 63. Next play, Trevor to Etienne from 10 out, 31-17 Jaguars. Up 2 scores, 3:56 left in the third quarter, and Denver could never really overcome it. Denver, 2nd and 5 at their own 38. Nix botches the exchange, fumble, recovered by Emmanuel Ogbah on an unforced error. And then Jacksonville set up at the Denver 34. 3rd and 5 at the Denver 29, Trevor to Washington for 24. Or at their own 29, I should say. Trevor to Washington for 24, escapes getting stopped before the sticks, settle for a little 26-yard field goal, 34-17 Jags. Denver would cut it to 34-20, but that was it, because then Knicks would get picked by Jerry Jones, who Scott Hansen on Red Zone was fascinated by the fact that earlier he hurled R.J. Harvey on the sideline when Harvey was barreling towards him. Scott Hansen fascinated by the fact that Jerry Jones happened to be the guy that Saquon hurled over back in the iconic play from last year. Denver would turn the ball over on downs. That's your final score, 34-20. Jaguars, that much closer to the AFC South title. They are also in the mix for a number 1 seed. Denver still holds the number 1 seed, though. They have a tiebreaker, remember, over the Patriots. Currently, both teams are 12-3. They have the tiebreaker based on common opponents. And once again, the common opponent that ended up mattering, or at least will matter if those two teams end up tied, and only those two teams, the fact that the Patriots lost to the Raiders week 1. That's the difference. That's why Denver's the number 1 seed at this current moment.
Still remember that. Everyone was like, oh, the Raiders. And the Patriots are going to struggle a little bit. No, that went real far.
All those Raiders fans became obnoxious again. Kansas City yesterday, in case you missed it, injury to insult against the Titans. Kansas City, second quarter from their own 3, false start. First play, then from the 1.5. Hunt stuck by Jeffrey Simmons in the end zone, 2-0 Titans. Minshew then out with a knee injury, believed to be an ACL. So in consecutive weeks, Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew, ACLs. Chris Oladikin in, 5 straight runs into Tennessee territory. Oladikin then completes his first pass, led to a Butker 54-yard field goal. 3-2 Chiefs halfway through the second quarter. Tennessee then would take over. 11 plays, 89 yards. Cam to Spears for 34, mostly yak. The big play, eventually Ward flips it to Chig Okonkwo from 7 out, 9-3 Titans. Oladikin would then go 5 for 5 for 40 yards plus 5 yards rushing on a drive. Butker would close that drive with a field goal, 9-6 Titans at the half. Minshew ruled out at that point. Tennessee, 9 plays, 75 yards. Ward to Chimere Dike from 1 out, 16-6 Titans. And the Chiefs would only get it to 16-9 before Tennessee would go 64 yards late. Ward to Ayumanor for 24 on 3rd and 10 at the Kansas City 28. That set up Spears in from 4 out. Next play, 23-9 Titans. They would close it 26-9. Oladikin ended up 11 of 16 for 111. Chiefs had 133 total yards. That is it. I guess this is Denver minus 8.5, but that was with, I think, Minshew in mind. So this is probably double digits.
Yeah, 12.5.
Yeah.
There's some 13s out there, but 12.5, 13.
That makes sense. I mean, you can't expect much more from Kansas City than you saw from them yesterday.
No.
Against the Titans.
Against the Titans.
Yes.
And now Denver's coming off a loss as well.
12. Imagine telling you, guess what, guys? Broncos are going to be a 12.5-point favorite at Kansas City Christmas night. What?
I'm saying, even look back a month ago, we probably never would have thought that.
Yeah, well, your next thought would have been like, did Mahomes get hurt? Yeah. And now you're down to your third-string quarterback, who, by the way, has been with the team, been with their practice squad for a few years now. So familiar with the system, Oladikin is. He didn't, I mean, based on how he was thrust in the game, didn't do badly. But, yeah, 133 total yards. Okay. Want to do one from Sunday morning? Want to squeeze in one?
Oh, we got Saturday first.
Saturday. Pardon me. Yep. Full weekend football.
So we got Saturday at 4:30 Eastern. We got the Texans taking on the Chargers out in L.A.
Texans at Chargers. Texans beat the Raiders, though not by as many as you might have thought. 14-point favorites. Raiders, 3rd and 1 at their own 30. First quarter, Geno picked by Derek Stingley Jr., 31 to the house, 7-0 Texans. 10:43 left first quarter. Later, Raiders would tie it up from their own 39. 7 plays, 61 yards. Geno to Bowers from 7 out, 7-7. Then we get to 10-7, 13-7 on 2 Fairbairn 50-plus yard field goals, 1 from 55, 1 from 50. Second half, Raiders, 6 plays, 85 yards. Geno to Genti for 60. 14-13 Raiders early third quarter. Fairbairn would put the Texans back up 16-14 with a 49-yarder. And then Houston would go 83 yards, helped by questionable PI defending Collins when the ball looked uncatchable. Next play, Stroud to Schultz from 1 out, 23-14. Raiders, that was halfway through the fourth quarter. Raiders would come back, though, 5 plays, 65 yards. Gentian from 51, 23-21. Houston, 5:24 left. And then it would only end when Houston was helped by a PI. Stroud to Collins for 23, then on 3rd and 8 at the Vegas 37 with 2 minutes left to seal the deal. Houston escapes. We already talked about the Chargers, who beat the Cowboys. Herbert threw for 300 yards on the button against the Cowboys. Johnston was 4 for 104, catching with a touchdown. Win out. The Chargers win the AFC West because they play the Broncos coming up. Maybe more. They're in the mix for the number 1 seed as well. Houston at the Chargers. Again, Houston, magic number against the Colts right now. If the Colts lose tonight, would be 1 for them to clinch a playoff berth. I'll say the Chargers -3.
We got Chargers -1.5, 1 across the board. 1.
Wow.
I'm liking the Chargers.
I must be higher on the Chargers. I keep saying this every week. I must be higher on the Chargers than everyone else. I think that defense is great.
And I don't see with the Texans' offense.
Yeah.
I need to see more.
I know they gave up a lot of points yesterday, but that's the Cowboys' offense. I might make that bet right now. Coming back.
Want to bet smarter this holiday season? VSiN's Pro Holiday Special is the perfect gift. Get VSiN Pro access through May 1st for just $79. That's daily best bets, real-time splits, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video, and expert coverage of every major sport, from college bowls and NFL playoffs to March Madness and the Masters. Plus, postseason betting guides to make you a sharper bettor. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
You know what? I'm going to blame Andy Reid for cronyism because Matt Nagy stinks. A guy like Jefferson, you got to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem, and he's been part of the problem.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Danny Higgins in for Kelly Bidlin. Kelly Bidlin in Florida, enjoying his family for Christmas. Happy holidays to you and yours. Great time of year. We will have Drew Dinsick on a little later on the show. Adam Burke after we get through guessing lines. I want to say FanDuel was trending here, Danny. So I looked to see what it was. First thing I saw was somebody complaining that if they don't get refunds for Travion or Lamar Jackson or any of these guys getting hurt on their props, he's like, there's going to be a lot of accounts withdrawn. This is so representative of these kids today, this younger generation, man. So entitled.
Hey, I had Henderson last night over 13.5 receiving yards. I'm not complaining. He got hurt. It happens sometimes.
It is such a great representation of the difference between, say, Gen X and younger generations. Y'all just think you're entitled to that kind of stuff. We get tweet speed of the book. As I once again appeal to the very coveted 65 to 79-year-old demo. Shrek McPhee, I'm the biggest Patriots fan around, but admittedly, there is no chance they win the Super Bowl. Good, possibly not great. Probably average overall. Bright future, though. Drake May looked great again last night. Drake May, first time ever, 300 yards passing, everybody.
Great job, Jake.
Great job.
I'll tell you what,
if you give Drake May 50 games to get 300 yards, he will get it, damn it.
I'll tell you what, though, he looked good. I think he's developed a lot since
fantastic.
last year and also from the beginning of this year to where he's at now. He's developed so much.
He is unquestionably, given Jaden Daniels' injuries this year, unquestionably Drake May looks like the number one quarterback of that draft at this current moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Not really fair to Jaden Daniels because he was banged up this year, but I think that's the pecking order at this moment in time. Neil Saunders, I don't know if there's anything more satisfying than winning a bet while pissing off your friends, especially when it's on the first drive of the game. My friend is a diehard Panthers fan, and I bet on Mike Evans to score a touchdown. LOL. There you go. Neil Saunders hates his friends. Hoops by Hoots. Refs could have completely avoided that last sequence in the Steelers-Lions game with a replay had they called Amon-Ra St. Brown's forward progress stopped. Guy literally was pushed backwards almost 5 yards before he pitched it back to Goff. I should have said this about this when we went over that game. There's an amazing final sequence. No one knew what was going on, and it took forever for New York City and the officials on the field to decide what the end result was. But I will say this, and this gets back to, again, the inconsistency of NFL officiating. I have seen that play where St. Brown just barrels right into Jalen Ramsey. I have seen that flagged on the defense in many games where it's like the defender is just taking a charge. Now, maybe Jalen Ramsey oversold it, but the point being is I have seen that called on the defense, which is completely unfair to me, right? What's the defender supposed to do? And in this particular case, I think there were two little subtle things that happened. One, Jalen Ramsey wasn't even looking at St. Brown. And the other thing was, if St. Brown had fallen to the ground, right, they would have flagged the defense for it.
Oh, yes.
So I just think there's little things that they don't describe in the explanation of this stuff where the players can do certain things to influence the call also. As it was, I think it's the correct call, right? He does barrel into Jalen Ramsey. Okay, maybe Jalen oversold it. But that's probably the correct call in the game. It's just that we don't see it called that way every time. We just don't.
No,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
there was a handful of times yesterday where, I mean, we'll get to it coming up with the Raven game, but Keyshawn Boutte got tackled at the 5-yard line, and there was no flag.
That's as bad as those calls in that Jets-Dolphins Monday night game from earlier in the season where you're like, what am I watching? Somebody tell me, did this game did something I don't know about this game? Larry Fresh, Lions in a must-win situation? Guess they must not be that good, or whatever Dr. Bob says. That's exactly right, Larry Fresh. If you're in a must-win situation, you must not be that good. Chris Heath, Shanahan at plus 275 at Wager on the Internet. Plus 650 is a steal, he said, for Coach of the Year, which is what we quoted at DraftKings. Colin Murphy, 100-1 on Jim Harbaugh. Way too long. If they went out and beat Denver the final week for the division with the O-line injuries and the Herbert hand injury, he has to be live. Shouldn't be in the top 3 as of now, but this number's insanely too high. I think you're right about that. By the way, we're showing 70-1, did we say?
75.
75-1 on Harbaugh. I think you're right. I think it's too high. Whether he wins it or not, I don't know. Wilmo bets. Why is Ben Johnson being glossed over for Coach of the Year? I didn't gloss over him. I said he's the one that, in terms of exceeding expectations, he's the guy. If that was the only thing, right? Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel would be head-to-head, I think, on that. He says, maybe I'm a homer, but what he's done with the Bears in his first season is miraculous. I understand the same could be said about Vrabel, but how are the odds not closer? Ronnie Roach says I'm pronouncing the Chiefs quarterback's name different from what they were saying on the broadcast. Oladikin. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, he was saying they were saying it Oladike. Well, that's not correct, Ronnie Roach. That's how they were saying it. It's Oladikin like Vatican, as you were saying off air. Yeah. Displaced Hoosier. You broke the trend. I thought the contacts were reserved for the Megapod. First of all, no contacts. I have never worn contacts in my entire life. Don't have them in now. For whatever reason, I came in this morning and I can see my screen better without my glasses. I don't know if my vision improved on my trip to the Chesapeake Bay this week. I don't know what happened. Paul Zhang said 365 voided Lamar and Judkins bets. Todd Bubba Horowitz, no one deserves refunds for injury. That's part of the bet. Of course, FanDuel and DraftKings started this crap by occasionally giving a refund. Happy New Year, my friend. Love the show as always. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Bubba. Jen O'Connor, got to take your licks with injuries. Imagine going to your bookie asking for a refund due to a bad beat. The bookie, I'll show you a bad beating. It's true. All right, what's next? Also Saturday?
Saturday, yes. We got Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We got the Baltimore Ravens headed to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, and again, remember, for the Lions to make the playoffs, they must win their final two. The Packers must lose their final two because the Packers are up a game and a half. If the Lions lose to the Vikings on Thursday, Christmas, this game will be lined differently because the Packers will, in essence, have clinched and they will not get the number one seed. So at that point, it's just about seeding. Will the Packers play it the same way? Baltimore yesterday, in case you missed it, they lose to the Patriots. 5 plays, 65 yards. Lamar to Zay for 19, then to Zay for 18. Zay Flowers, that is, on 3rd and 3 at the New England 39. Next play, Henry in from 21, 7-0 Ravens. And then New England, 3rd and 14 at the Baltimore 19, May picked by Marlon Humphrey. So Baltimore, from their own 4, matriculates, and they're in a New England plus territory. You're like, wow, Baltimore is going to crush New England tonight. But 2nd, 4th at New England 37, Henry for 5, ball punched out by Jalen Hawkins, recovered by Craig Woodson. They're like, oh, they're the Ravens. Boy, Derrick Henry has been marred by that all year, seems like. At least in primetime games, he has been. New England, 10 plays, 68 yards, 526, including a 3rd and 13 at the Baltimore 47, 20-yard hookup by Mac Hollins, then to Hooper. Austin Hooper for 26, then made a Henry from 1 out, 7-7, early second quarter. The Patriots would go up 10-7. Ravens would tie it 10-10 on a drive where Lamar got hurt. Really strange play where he ran it, then he dove quickly, and then I guess he got hit in the back on the way down.
It was like in his back ribs. I'm thinking maybe little kidneys, but...
You're a Ravens fan. Dan, explain yourself. Sorry.
Well, I mean...
Don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
Yes, he took a knee to the back, or to the ribs. We're still not 100% sure exactly what it is. Hopefully come out this week, see if he can go. Short week again we have. But it's going to come down. I think it comes down, how does Derrick Henry not touch the ball with 12... after 12 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want to get to.
10-10, 3rd and 2 now for New England. 3rd and 2 at the Baltimore 30. May sacked by Darius Washington. Fumbles recovered by Draymond Jones. Baltimore, then Huntley to Andrews. Then Andrews ridiculously, this was the last sequence of the first half. Didn't make any sense. Didn't matter in the score. But what was going on? May got sacked by Darius Washington, fumbled. May should have been more careful with the ball. But then Huntley to Andrews, and Andrews ridiculously tries lateraling it back, but threw it forward. Did you see that? Offset by a phantom roughing call. That was such a strange sequence.
He got lucky for the phantom roughing call because I don't know what he was doing there.
Don't know what he was doing. So 10-10, loop short on a 56-yard field goal try in the second half. Borregales hits a 41-yarder. New England up 13-10. Then Baltimore, 6 plays, 65 yards, featuring Huntley to Hopkins, 16-yard pickup on 3rd and 5 at their own 40. Phenomenal toe-tap catch. 3 plays later, Zay in from 18. 17-13, Ravens late third quarter. Leverage on the extra point. So then they purposely kick it out of bounds from the 50, from their own 25. Then New England, 4th and 10 at their own 44. They go in punt formation. They fake it. Marte Mapu looks to throw. Receiver covered, runs, fumbles. William Quenke recovers. Baltimore set up at the New England 44. Lamar now ruled out with the back injury. 7 plays, Henry in from 2. 24-13 Ravens. 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the fourth quarter. Ravens going to do this, right? Wrong. New England, 7 plays, 73 yards. Made a Kyle Williams from 37 out. Great pass and catch. Made a Ramondre for 2, 24-21. Ravens with 9:01 left. New England gets the ball back from their own 11 with 5:02 left. 1st and 10, the New England 44. May incomplete downfield to Booty. Tackled by Humphrey. No call. Strangest no call of the season.
Tackled. He literally got tackled.
He was being hugged, then tackled. 4th and 2 at the Baltimore 48. May slips it by Washington to Diggs for 21. 2 plays later, Stevenson in from 21. 28-24 in New England. That non-call didn't matter. 2:07 left. And then Baltimore, second play, 2nd and 15 at their own 27. Huntley to Zay Flowers, hit from behind by Kayvon Chason. Fumbles, recovered by Marcus Jones. What a play by Chason. And New England at the Baltimore 36. Baltimore with all 3 timeouts, but they couldn't stop him. New England wins it. We'll get to the Green Bay part of that. Baltimore, though, they're on death's door also.